analytics as usual.
Analytics as usual. Do I need to spell it?
Analytics as usual. So as I was saying, this was negotiated by the players, by ownership, and this DeShawn Watson fiasco, this was like the first case that occurred, or the first issue that they had to implement the third party arbitrator into looking at these cases or reviewing these cases to see what type of ruling or what type of penalty is going to be issued out. The fact that the NFL didn't get, well, okay, let me, because I'm all over the place, but first, Sue Robinson was disappointed that there was a lot of stuff starting to leak from the case. One specific thing that leaked was the fact that the NFL was seeking a 4-season suspension, but they were eventually not going to get their way. And they actually were bracing themselves for a 4-game suspension, which they weren't too pleased about. And anytime something leaks to the public, it's because somebody wanted it out. There's no way around that. So somebody from the NFL office leaked it. Sue Robinson was ticked off because that happened, and they got their agenda across, or whatever their plan was, they executed because it was out there. So she reprimanded the NFL, telling them she wasn't pleased with what happened. But to make a long story short, she ended up saying, even though she gave him a 6-game suspension, she said that the way he acted, or he did violate some of the NFL's CBA. In fact, it said that Watson to have engaged in conduct that posed a genuine danger to the safety and well-being of another person, and conduct that undermines or puts at risk the integrity of the NFL. So that was the main sticking point right there that she actually agreed with the NFL on. However, in the NFL's current CBA, there's no type of way to suspend a player for any non-violent type of activities for more than a full season. So she then, based off of the structure or the skeleton of, or the the foundation of the CBA that indicates it's either violent or it's non-violent. If it's non-violent, you can't get a full season for it. If it is violent, you can't get a full season. So, based off of that structure, she leaned towards the 6 games. But again, she also was angered at the league because they leaked certain stuff. Also, she might have possibly took it to 12 games, but because of the leaks in court and the NFL's arrogance, she ruled at 6. But it's a slap in the face because you can't negotiate. And when I say you, I'm talking about the NFL. They negotiated this new CBA. Now that the CBA is in place and it doesn't rule in your favor, and the decision was handed out by someone you chose, that's not a good look. Period. So, because you didn't get your way, now you're going to try a different angle and try to get the way that you are looking for, which, I know the public outcry is, it's conflicted. It varies. It depends on what exactly they're angered about, or do they feel like the penalty is justified. You can never really justify 24 separate accusations. I mean, you just can't. It's like you tarnishing someone's character. It's like a character assassination tactic. So you can't really make that part right, right? But people got to also keep in mind that Deshaun Watson, he did not play a single game last year. Okay, so he come off. So let's walk this back. The season prior, he was coming off of an injury. Okay, so I think it was like an ACL injury. So he missed time in that season. Last season, the Texans decided not to play him at all. They still paid him weekly, but they did not have him step on the field. So he didn't play not one game last season. Um, in the streets, you would think that if you uh, are in jail until you go to court, and then when you go to court and you found, um, let's say, I'm in jail for 25 days, and then I go to court, and then on that 25th day, the judge rules that, okay, you're gonna have to go to jail for 20 days. No, you're gonna go to jail for 30 days and a fine and community service, right? Well, if she says you have time served, that means that the 25 days I was already in jail would be subtracted from the 30, bringing it down to 5 days, right? So, in essence, you would think that he has time served already because he just sat out the whole season last year. But again, public outcry because he hears how the media, the backlash that he was receiving from maybe it be someone that had possibly experienced sexual assault or whatever the case. Uh, People wasn't happy about it, and the NFL had to switch their tune again. Now, uh, they could have got behind this last year. They been knew about this. The moment that the Texans decided not to play him was the moment that the NFL been knew about everything that we, of course, heard from court and that has unfolded recently, or the recent chain of events. They been knew about this. They didn't do anything about it. They wanted to wait and see. They waited and they seen. He didn't get charged any type of federal, any type of criminal charges for these allegations. So be, all of the criminal charges was dropped. Okay, so that right there lets you know, okay, it's not a criminal charge, something else that us, the general public, we don't really know. We're not privy to get that information, but something else happened that we weren't aware of. But the criminal charges was dropped, so civil charges was picked up. Civil charges was picked up, and it's just a coincidence that the same lawyer represented all of the women involved in these um, charges. Now, um, the type of feeling or the type of vibe I get is like Better Call Saul. If you guys familiar with that show, it's real, real grimy type of lawyer that slickster, you know, corner cutting Jimmy. But I expect somebody from Saul Goodman's office to do these type of tactics, like, and this is exactly the type of playbook that we're seeing is unraveling. So they got the same lawyer representing all of these women. You know, lawyers get paid a certain percentage per case or per ruling, right? If you settle, so y'all do the math and y'all add that up, right? So same guy, let's call him Paul Goodman, because whatever. But the NFL been knew about this. They did nothing. They were um, playing the backfield. Hey, we're gonna let this play out. We don't want to get involved. Let's see how the process plays out. Well, the process played out. Criminal charges were thrown out. Civil charges was picked up, but they were settled, right? So usually, if you settle, it's not a good look. It's not saying you're right. It's not saying you're wrong, but it's saying you wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? It's like the gray area part of it. But they all settled. They took their pay deals, which is coincidence that all of this stuff unfolded when the moment DeShawn Watson indicated that he wanted to leave, he said that he wanted to go to test the free agency market, and he was really like the first NFL player that I could think of in recent memory that tried to dictate what he wanted to do or what he wanted his path to go. Ownership, McNair, the owner, Mr. McNair family, they were too pleased with that. It's a coincidence that these lawsuits end up coming out right after he indicated he had no intentions of wanting to stay with the Texans. Now, we could say that that's some type of conspiracy theory. Probably is a little fishy, but hey, that's up to the viewer to determine that. But that's what happened. So these lawsuits come out. Manera, of course, was not too happy that his star quarterback wanted to leave, but they still paid that man every single game last season, even though he didn't play, versus just cutting him. So if you're unhappy with the guy, cut the guy, right? Yeah, you might have a salary cap hit, but is saving face value on your organization worth that hit? Is your reputation more important, or taking a salary cap hit is? And obviously, taking that salary cap hit was more important to the McNairs and the Texans organization. So they kept him on payroll, cut his check off. Time went by. We all knew this was going on. We all knew that DeShawn Watson was one of the stars in the NFL. Nothing was done. So we fast forward all the way to today. The arbitrator that the NFL chose didn't rule with the NFL. Now they're mad. So now they're going to appeal. So it's unfortunate that it's even got to this point, but now we're gonna have to wait and see what happens. Does this mean that he's gonna miss preseason games? Does this mean that the sixth game might get dropped down even lower, depending on who the new arbitrator is? Most importantly, is Roger Goodell gonna step in now and be the judge and jury executioner? It's unfortunate, man, but one thing is for certain, that if that six-game suspension upholds or is upheld, my Browns is going to the playoffs. I was actually anticipating an 8-game suspension, but I'll take the 6 games. 6 games, that's fair. But if the league is going to appeal, which they did, then Watson has the right to sue the NFL because of everything I just laid out for you guys. And most importantly, if they're going to appeal, and of course they're looking for more of a higher, tougher punishment, then who's to say we can't get the 6 game dropped down to even 4 or even 2, or hell, thrown out because of the time served, because of everything that I just laid out for you. So I want to thank you guys again for tuning in, man. As usual, I have a lot of content coming up, so just be patient with me. I've been working, busy as hell, but I got some stuff coming out for you guys. Got an interview, sit down that I did with the new coach of the Twinsburg high school team, which is Coach Charles Salter. So that's going to be interesting to watch. I have all types of stuff or all types of ammo ready for you.
Manalytics as usual.
Manalytics as usual. It's your boy Jason Vine. Peace.